Working on row 8, I have gotten through my first repeat and I'm getting ready to go. This is another row that has both purl 2 together through the back loop and purl 2 together. Beginning of the repeat, it's purl 3, then purl 2 together through the back loop. Notice the third stitch over on my left needle is a yarn over from the previous row, but the 2 stitches that are involved in the purl 2 together through the back loop are not. So that I know it is time to do that purl 2 together through the back loop. Next stitch is purl, yarn over, purl. Then a regular purl 2 together. Notice the yarn over to the left. Purl 2 together over, ends on a purl. The beginning of the repeat is purl 3, so it's 4 altogether, so you continue to get this little break of a lot of stitches in a row that are easy. Purl 3, the next stitch is purl 2 together through the back loop. Okay, purl. Now, I don't know if you remember, but the first stitch after the purl 2 together through the back loop was a yarn over, and I didn't have one here. So I'm going to show you a couple of things. First of all, let's pretend the first time through that I didn't notice this. And I'm going to go ahead and do purl over purl. I'm getting ready to do my purl 2 together. And I notice now, oh boy, I've got a yarn over as the first stitch, not the second, in my purl 2 together. So I've got to have an error here. What I would do next is back up. So I'm going to show you tinking this a little bit. With a regular purl stitch, you just go front to back with your left needle into the loop below the one on your right needle and release it. Yarn over's easy, you just drop that. Then I've got another purl stitch, same thing, easy. My next one, this is a purl 2 together through the back loop. You come in from the back through both of those stitches, hopefully you can see the separation, and then drop off the loop that was coming through. This helps your stitches be well positioned on the needle with the front leg towards the right a little bit as usual, so that's helpful. And then I can see, okay, it looks good up to this point, yarn over, purl 4. I know the next thing I do is my purl 2 together through the back loop. And now I say, aha, now I remember I needed this yarn over and I must have forgotten to do that or could have dropped when I was working this row. Lift the bar between your right needle and your left needle and simply place it over your left needle, and there's your yarn over. You do not have to rip out the whole row. It takes some people when they're starting to get when they're starting to learn lace, myself included when I started out, that I thought I had to go back and create that yarn over at the time. It will be a tiny bit tighter than other yarn overs, but once your piece is blocked and everything, absolutely will not matter. Purl 2 together through the back loop. My next stitch is purl. It's purl, yarn over, purl. Next stitch, purl 2 together, and we've got the right configuration of stitches on our left needle, so I'm going to go ahead and purl those together, and I know I'm back in the clear. Yarn over, purl 1, and then purl 3 at the beginning of the repeat. Purl 2 together through the back loop. All looks good. Next stitch is a yarn over, purl, purl. Purl 2 together. My second stitch is a yarn over. Things are all good. Back next for row 9. Back to work row 9. We are getting really, really close. Stitches, SSK, yarn over as always, and then on row 9 I'm working knit 2, yarn over. So as I mentioned before, the yarn overs are towards the beginning of the repeat. Knit 2 yarn over, knit 2 again, then SSK, knit 2. SSK, yarn over, knit 2, yarn over. First stitch of the next 2 is a yarn over to help remember, and then SSK. See, we're still following this line, ending knit 2 and making sure to end in the middle of that little rib area. Make sure and admire your knitting often. Doesn't help so much on the wrong side of the piece, but if you're on the right side and you look down, you would notice if there was something out of place. You can definitely see that there is a pattern that's evolving and that they look the same in each section. Back for row 10. That does. So rows 6, 8, and 10, as a recap, both have purl 2 together through the back loop and purl 2 together stitches. Those are the only wrong side rows. The wrong side rows in this pattern have it, but the other half don't. Alrighty, so we start out with a purl stitch, purl 2 together through the back loop right at the beginning of the repeat, purl 3 over purl 1, then your purl 2 together. Again, same thing, the second stitch has a yarn over, so it's easy to tell which one you're doing. Over purl 1 is at the end of the repeat, 1 at the beginning of the repeat, and then your purl 2 together through the back loop. 1, 2, 3 purls, yarn over, 1 purl, purl 2 together, yarn over, purl 1 at the end of the repeat, 1 at the beginning of the repeat, purl 2 together through the back loop. As you can see, it's a little tricky to get in there sometimes, but as long as it's on the correct stitch, you should get the feel for how it should feel to do that purl 2 together through the back loop. If it feels wrong to you, stop and take a look. If any of these stitches don't feel the same to your hands as you're working them, chances are there's a little mistake that's been made. Just take a look back before you go further. Always easier to correct when you catch an error early on or even before you've made it. So that's purl 2 together through the back loop, purl 3 over purl 1, and here I am. I've got the wrong stitches here, so I'm going to back up. I'm going to take that one out. I'm going to take that one out. That one. Now I think this was correct, but I'm going to go back a little bit further. Sometimes it helps to, and remember, when you're taking out a purl 2 together through the back loop, come from the back so that the stitches will be well positioned. So I'm going to go back to yarn over. I know this is right because the second stitch of the last purl 2 together was a yarn over. So this was the last purl 2 together. And instead of just continuing on, I'm going to show you what I mean by looking on the previous row. I'm turning it around, and my last row was row 9, which at this beginning of the repeat, row 9 is SSK over knit 2, aha. No, I take that aha back. Sorry. Let me back up one more. I don't think I was at the beginning of the row. SSK over knit 2 over knit 2, SSK knit 2. The next one should have been an SSK yarn over, which it was. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that that is right. I'm going to turn this around and try again. Just takes a little bit of looking to figure out what the different stitches will look like on your knitting and how to spot an error. So just, even if you don't think you've made a mistake, or you know, everything's looking good, really study it, and it makes the whole process a lot easier. So we just did a purl 2 together in row 10, and in row 10, after a purl 2 together, we have yarn over, purl 1 at the end of the repeat, purl 1 again. The next thing we do is purl 2 together through the back loop, purl 1, purl 2, purl 3, over, purl 1, and yay, we're back on track. Purl 2 together. So I just did something fun, just be able to spot where you make mistakes. I'll be back for row 11. Starting row 11. 2 more rows on the home stretch. My edge stitch or stitches, sorry, SSK, over, 1, 2 knits, over, 1, 2, 3 knits, knit 2 together, knit 1. So see how we're making this line of stitches move towards the right again. SSK, yarn over, knit 2, yarn over. First stitch of the 3 knits is the yarn over from the previous row, knit 2 together, knit 1. One more time. SSK, yarn over, knit 2, yarn over, 1, 2, 3, knit 2 together. Back for the last row, row 12. So to begin the repeat, you start with a purl 1, purl 2 together, purl 1, 2, and 3, the last one being a yarn over from the previous row, yarn over, purl 1, purl 2 together again, yarn over, purl 1, purl 1 from the beginning of the repeat, purl 2 together, purl 3, yarn over, purl 1, purl 2 together, yarn over, purl 1. One more time through. I bet you just don't want this video to end. I tried to shorten it up. We'll see how short it is, but I hope you've enjoyed it and learned something. Purl 1, purl 2 together, 1, 2, 3 purls, yarn over, purl 1, purl 2 together, yarn over, purl 1. This is a beautiful lace pattern. I absolutely am in love with it. Sorry that the yarn is so dark. If it ends up that it's too dark for the video, I will put out another more abbreviated video with light colored larger yarn. Just in case you want to know what it is, it's Madeline Tosh, and the light version, it's a single that's slightly twisted, and the color is lichen. I'm liking it. Enjoy your lace.